when a whole soul has a gratifying notional structure of self-allowance, one is then in full light composition of its own. One then aligns and allows for oneself to grow symbiotically towards a new destination of its own. So this whole life performance is not necessarily for one to fully become aware of all of its environmental perspectives, but to align oneself to many other to such behavioral systems that then can bring about a whole lot of effect. So by so well self-programming oneself forward into its own, one is then in full alignment of all its capacitators, of all its life desires that it so well wishes to be as into its own and as it is. So this whole alignment is much more than a self-regarding matter of coursing effect, but of regarding the whole as its own, realizing that within it all there are many folds of light texturing that are in full alignment of its own core symposiumity as it is. So this whole awareness then grows ultimately far out there into a much greater awareness of self-perceivabilities one can so admit to as their own. So by so well revealing this, one is then in side glancing effect, allowing for the whole to so well come forward into its own and broaden one's life perspective by self-aligning oneself to its highest desires as its own in full effectual light as it is. So this is simply said and easily done. It is simply about observing through one's life perspective, one's life glancing effect, how it is one can so be as into its own. What are the most extraordinary things and peoples and birds and flies and bees of natural circumscript coming about into one's own environment and allowing for their own purposeful effect to glow themselves so well forward into its own just as it is. So this self-allowance, this self-alignment is when the whole perspective so well changes towards a new destiny because of allowing oneself to glance so much more out there. One is then fully aligning one's heart to a highest degree of self-examination, self-perceivabilities, self-alignments. So of course, just as the wind is doing right now, a full participation is happening. All are letting all know that we are all fully present at all moments and of all times. So let us celebrate nature and allow for nature to be as to its own, just as it is. And so I am, in full delightful effect, advancing so well forward into its own, just as it is, in my own perfected sense of well-being that I am trying to describe as best as can be. And so it is. I am Patricia Sophia, in full discourse with all as its own and as its own soulful, purposeful effect. Thank you.